As we get set to go, we'll go 8 laps. And top 4 cars will advance directly to tonight's A main. The rest will file into the B main. As we get set to go with the sun in our eyes off turn 4. Randy Miller leads him into turn number 1. And on my lineup sheet, I had Don Cooper listed as the 11 car. It's actually Gary Lee Meyer now that I look at the speedway, as Gary Lee Meyer up to the 2nd spot. As now Gary Lee Meyer, the veteran racer, goes to the inside of Randy Miller through turns 3 and 4. Meyer on the inside, Randy Miller up on the high side as they come down to complete another lap. Christy Passmore in 3rd, Danny Jennings 4th. Josh Higday runs 5th, Michael Jones 6th. Kurt Davis running down the 7th spot with Jerry Crabb rounding out your field. Up front, Gary Lee Meyer continues to try to track down your leader, Randy Miller. Meyer still way down at the bottom, Miller up on the high side as there's 2 solid grooves on the speedway. Meyer once again tries the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Now looks like he maybe has a run on Miller down the backstretch. Miller though pulls it out. Meyer now pulls back even as they work through turns 3 and 4. Meyer to the inside has a slight advantage. Miller runs the high side down the front stretch. Now solidly takes the lead back as he comes down to complete lap number 4. Randy Miller solidly in the lead. Meyer back to 2nd. 3rd is the 1A of Christy Passmore. 4th is 61J of Danny Jennings. Right now, those 4 cars are locked in. Your race continues for the lead as Gary Lee Meyer not giving up on the 2DX car of Randy Miller. Still trying the low groove to reel in Randy Miller. Miller, though, still leads down the back straightaway. And your race is for the lead once again as Gary Lee Meyer found a little something he liked downstairs and now works past the 2DX of Randy Miller down the back straightaway. Meyer has a slight advantage in turns 3 and 4. Miller, though, trying to come back on the high side. And a white flag this time by as Gary Lee Meyer comes up to block down the front straightaway. Now Miller trying once again on the high side off turn 2. And yellow on the speedway. Yellow flag out for the 24 Josh Higday in turns 3 and 4. Gary Lee brings him off turn 4 down to the green flag. As we said, top 4 cars advancing on to tonight's A main as right now, Danny Jennings running in that 4th spot as Michael Jones now gets up to the inside of Kurt Davis to take over the 5th spot. Davis back to 6th. Higday now 7th over Jerry Crabb. White flag is out for your leader. White flag out for the 11X to Gary Lee Meyer. Gary Lee with a comfortable lead down the back straightaway brings the car to the bottom in turns 3 and 4. Brings it off turn 4 one final time, sees the checker flag. Gary Lee Meyer picks up heat race number 1. Randy Miller comes home 2nd. Christy Passmore 3rd and Danny Jennings 4th.
And Mitchell Moore and Bill Olson in row number 4. Nose to tail and 2 by 2. They work through turns 3 and 4 to the white line. Doran Doty setting the pace as they work toward the white line. The green flag is out and here we go. Heat race number 2. Down the front chute they come. David Hesmer goes to the high side of the racetrack. Doran Doty running 2nd. Jake Peters now up into the 3rd spot. Toby Brown running 4th. Matt Morrow 5th. Tim Deaver, your field working off turn 4. David Hesmer still showing the way in the Action Auto Parts, car number 1. Doran Doty running the bottom side at turn number 2 now, down the back straightaway. Jake Peters in the 3rd spot. Toby Brown, Matt Morrow, look out! Toby Brown out of shape going down the back chute. Getting a handle back on the race cars. They work through turn number 4. Matt Morrow up into the 4th spot now as Jake Peters is starting to close in on Doran Doty. Doran Doty moved up to the high side at turn number 2, now down the back chute toward turn 3. Both cars up on the cushion. Peters gets a bit high up into the loose stuff. Down the front straightaway, David Hesmer still showing the way. Doran Doty still running 2nd, Jake Peters 3rd, Matt Morrow in the 4th and final transfer. Then it's Toby Brown, Mitchell Moore, Tim Deaver, and Billy Olson. This time by will be 4 laps down, 4 down, 4 to go. Single file racing as they race down the back straightaway. Your leader comes off turn 4. That's still David Hesmer. David Hesmer puts about a straightaway between he and Doran Doty, who rides second. Jake Peters still running in that 3rd spot. Peters from South Dakota racing 3rd. Matt Morrow running 4th. Toby Brown 5th. Mitchell Moore, Tim Deaver, and Billy Olson your field. Hesmer now in turn number 2 has the lap car of Billy Olson ahead down the back straightaway. Hesmer looks high, now low, now goes high again up on the cushion, moves around the lap car of Olson to the white flag. This time by being shown 1 to go for your leader, David Hesmer. David Hesmer still your leader for the final time down the back chute as he puts a bit more distance. Here comes Matt Morrow on the last lap, moves around Jake Peters for the 3rd spot. Meanwhile, checkered flag is out your winner, David Hesmer. Back in the pack, your race now for 4th off turn 4. Matt Morrow, Jake Peters. Give it to Matt Morrow.
Illinois run US Army 53H. This is Matt Harms. Matt Harms driving the 53H. All right, as we get set to go, top 4 cars will advance on out of the 8-lap heat race. Don Cooper leads him into turn number 1. Keep your eye on the 14 of Randy Martin up on the high side. As Randy Martin now works by the 4C of Mike Chad down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, it's Don Cooper, Jesse Giannetto, Michael Dupuis, and now Randy Martin on the high side as he takes a look at Michael Dupuis down the front stretch. Don Cooper, he'll lead lap number 1. Cooper on the bottom, Jesse Giannetto up on the high side. As lots of 2x2 racing. Down the back stretch now as Mike Chad looks to the inside of Randy Martin. Jesse Giannetto still using the high side as he tries to work by the 11 of Don Cooper. Mike Chad now has gotten back by Randy Martin as Mike Chad in the 4C car, the Budweiser car down the back stretch, puts the 4 car into the 4th spot as Randy Martin now back to the 5th spot, 1 spot out of a transfer. Your race is still for the lead as Don Cooper and Jesse Giannetto still battle out down the front straightaway. Michael Dupuis on the bottom runs 3rd. And Mike Chad running in the 4th spot. Randy Martin in 5th, Mike Hausman 6th, Stacy Alexander 7th, and Matt Harms 8th. Jesse Giannetto continues to chase down Don Cooper. Don Cooper takes it out on the bottom. Jesse Giannetto staying on the high side. Now pulls even down the front straightaway. Giannetto finally got the run he was looking for. As Don Cooper on the inside, though, looks like he may be able to hold off Giannetto. Now Cooper gets a little out of shape, loses momentum, and Giannetto takes over the top spot. You've got a new leader in turns 3 and 4. Jesse Giannetto up on the high side, now solidly into the lead as Don Cooper back to 2nd. Now Michael Dupuis tries to close the gap on 2nd place Don Cooper. A white flag this time by for Jesse Giannetto. Your race is heating up for the 2nd spot as Michael Dupuis has now caught the 11 car of Don Cooper. As Giannetto stretches out about a 7 or 8 car length advantage down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Giannetto still up running the cushion. Everybody else on the bottom off turn 4. Picking up heat race number 3, Jesse Giannetto. 2nd to the 11 of Don Cooper. 3rd to the 4 of Michael Dupuis. And rounding out your top 4 transfer spots, the 4C of Mike Chad. We've got 7 of our Advanced Auto Parts 360 hard chargers that are with us here every Saturday night at the Knoxville Raceway, racing in heat race number 4. And Rod Richards, Ryan Menninger bring them side by side of the white line as Larry DeCry gives him the green flag. Look at Johnny Anderson up on the inside trying to get to the top 4. And John Carney on the move on the high side of the speedway, went from 6th to 2nd in turns 1 and 2. Let's see if he can get it the rest of the way done. Coming down the home stretch, Carney on the high side of Ryan Menninga. Menninga leads lap 1, but John Carney using the high side. Carney on the move. Whoa, hold on, Johnny Anderson. Johnny Anderson in turn 1 as he loops the 7A car in turn number 2. And you can see the field now rounds off turn 4 to the cone as Larry DeCreif gives him the green flag. Ryan Menninga up front, but John Carney doesn't want him to last very long. As Carney takes it to the high side, John Carney takes over your lead down the back straightaway. John Carney up on the high side. Ryan Menninga still on the bottom, trying to chase him down. Doug Wilson runs third, and Rod Richards still holding on to that 4th and final transfer spot. Johnny Anderson, though, moving up from the back of the field, already up to 5th from the 7th spot, as he now sets his sights on Rod Richards down the backstretch, trying to make the all-important top 4 spots to lock himself into the 9th main. Up front continues to be Carney, Menninga, and Wilson, as Wilson now trying to run down your top 2 cars. And your battle now for the 4th spot. Johnny Anderson's gotten by Rod Richards on the inside. Anderson now takes 4th. Richards back to 5th in the 5 car. Ryan Menninga still staying true to the bottom line as he tries to chase down John Carney. Doug Wilson following Carney around on the high side of the speedway. Now gains on the 10 of Menninga. Wilson with the run off turn 2. Doug Wilson still reeling in. Menninga now has a run down the front stretch as they come very close at the flag stand. Menninga back to the bottom, Wilson back to the top as they race through turns 1 and 2 now. Wilson with the advantage down the backstretch. Doug Wilson takes over 2nd, puts Menninga back to 3rd. As Doug Wilson now will try to chase down the 86 of John Carney for the heat race win. Menninga, though, not giving up, still running the bottom as he's working hard down in the bottom groove, trying to get that 2nd spot back from Doug Wilson. Meanwhile, Johnny Anderson all alone in the 4th spot has about 15 car lengths between him and the front cars, as well as 15 between him and Rod Richards. This time by, the white flag will fly for your leader off turn 4, John Carney. Just one more trip around the half mile. John Carney off the high side one more time. He'll pick up the heat race win, number 4. John Carney to the checkered flag. 2nd goes to the 33W, Doug Wilson. 3rd to the 10 of Menninga. And rounding out your top 4 transfer spots, the 7A, Johnny Anderson.
All right, pace cars to the infield. We'll go green in turn 4 as Chris Walraven will set the pace, car number 56 from Knoxville. As they work through turns 3 and 4, Walraven and Northway bringing them down to the green flag, and we are racing. Chris Walraven with the advantage. Oh, Jim Alexander Jr., hang on. Red flag is out. Walraven bringing them up, and here they come to the white line, green flag. Chris Walraven on the bottom side of the racetrack, your race leader in turn 2, Colin Northway. In the 2nd spot, Larry Neighbors in 3rd, then your race for 4th. Brent Antill and Ryan Anderson battling in turn 3 and 4. Side by side, they'll race off turn 4, the Anderson car with the advantage. Ryan Anderson in that 4th and final transfer. Now Brent Antill back to challenge down the back straightaway. Got it, takes over 4th. Meanwhile, back up front, Walraven leads off the bottom side of turn 4. Colin Northway still running in that 2nd spot, takes the Featherlight 60 up to the cushion, takes it around the high side of the racetrack, trying to reel in your race leader down the back chute. Larry Neighbors still racing in that 3rd spot. Ryan Anderson running 4th, Brent Antill 5th, Jeff Young running 6th, and then Mike Waddell. Now your race is for the lead. Here they come in turn 2. Colin Northway looks to the high side of Chris Walraven down the back chute. Walraven on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Colin Northway up on the high side. Your race is for the lead. Down the front chute, still side by side as they go into turn number 1. Chris Walraven on the bottom side of the racetrack with the advantage down the back chute. Now Northway hauls it in up on the high side, brings her into turns 3 and 4. Your race still up front for the lead as they race off turn 4. The advantage with Walraven. Colin Northway really close in that second spot, brings it back up against the cushion in turn 2, trying to get a run on Walraven down the back straightaway. Larry Neighbors still running third. Your race also in the 4th spot. Anderson and Antill still side by side. You've got a new leader down the front chute, Colin Northway. Colin Northway brings it up on the high side of the speedway, turns up the wick down the back chute, and pulling away from Chris Walraven. Chris Walraven now back to the 2nd spot as the lap car of Mike Waddell on the bottom of the racetrack. Northway moves by. White flag, 1 to go. Colin Northway on the top spot. Chris Walraven 2nd. Larry Neighbors running 3rd. Then you've got that good battle in the 4th spot. Brent Antill on the bottom side of the racetrack. Ryan Anderson up on the high side. Down the back straightaway they come. Off turn 4, the checkered flag is out. Your winner, Colin Northway. Chris Walraven running 2nd. Larry Neighbors 3rd. Ryan Anderson 4th.
Row 2, Jeff Young, Mike Hausman, that's row 3. Row 4, Tim Deaver, Mitchell Alexander. Row 5, Brent Antill, Rod Richards. Row 6, Jerry Crabb, Mitchell Moore. Row 7, Stacy Alexander, Michael Jones. Row 8, Billy Ray Olson and Matt Harms. In your final row, Dave Middlesworth on the inside and Mike Waddell scheduled to start on the outside as we get set to go racing. You see the field now stacks up behind your front row as they approach the white chalk line off turn 4. Josh Higday, Toby Brown, nice and easy to line. As the field makes their way down through turns 1 and 2. Josh Higday, your early leader, but Toby Brown running the high side. Brown now shoots by down the back stretch. Toby Brown, your new leader. Higday back to 2nd. Randy Martin 3rd. Kurt Davis runs in the 4th position. Randy Martin now to the inside of Josh Higday. Randy Martin gets to the 2nd spot. Higday back to 3rd. Davis still 4th. Mike Hausman running in the 5th spot. Continues to be Toby Brown running the high side. Your new leader. Randy Martin running 2nd. Josh Higday 3rd. Kurt Davis 4th. Mike Hausman rounds out your top 5 cars as they begin to separate themselves from the field. Davis now looks to the inside of Higday down the back straightaway. Kurt Davis tries to pull even with the 24 as they approach turn 3. Higday up running the cushion. Davis down low trying to get his way into tonight's A main. Davis now takes over 3rd. Higday back to 4th. Davis now sets his sight on your 2nd place car, the 14 of Randy Martin. Up front, Toby Brown continuing to run the high side of Speedway. Martin runs 2nd. Davis still 3rd as Higday now falling back from the top 3. Brent Antill running a 6th spot. Jeff Young, running in the 7th spot. As your top couple cars continue to run the high side of the Speedway, now Martin goes to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Josh Higday still running the cushion a little further back as Mike Hausman now has begun to close the gap. Brent Antill coming up from the 9th spot up to 6th as he tries to reel in your leaders and get his way into tonight's A main. This time by 6 laps down, 6 laps to go as Toby Brown puts a lap on the 2 of Mike Waddell. Brown still running up on the high side as the field continues to click off the laps in our 12th lap B main. Brent Antill now battles to the inside of Mike Hausman for the 5th spot as Antill using the low line. Looks to have the spot for Mike Hausman. Now tries to get by the 24 Higday. Higday up on the cushion, Antill down low. Randy Martin still trying to reel in your leader. Those 2 cars currently locked into tonight's A main. Toby Brown and the ABF Truck Rebuilder 61. Oh! And trouble on the front straightaway as you saw the 61A get together with the lap car of Matt Harms. As Matt Harms in the 61A, just not enough room coming down the front stretch. As they bring him down the front straightaway to the cone, Martin leads into the green flag. Keep your eye on Josh Higday in 3rd as he's trying to get by Davis. Davis, meanwhile, has his own ideas as Davis goes to the bottom of Randy Martin, tries to get by. Martin, though, powers down the back straightaway on the high side. Davis, oh, Randy Martin almost got it sideways on the high side. That gives the lead to Kurt Davis as Randy Martin almost loops the car going into turn 3. Now regathers it back to the second spot. Meanwhile, look at Mike Hausman now. Found a little something upstairs he liked as he goes by the 24, Josh Higday. Hausman to third, Higday back to fourth, as Mike Hausman now tries to track down Randy Martin. Kurt Davis stretching it out up front, Martin on the high side. As Mike Hausman, Josh Higday, Brent Entill, that's the rest of the top 5 as they all chase down those top 2 spots and a free ticket to tonight's A-Main. This time by will be the last time around as the white flag will fly for your leader, Kurt Davis. You've got a race for that second spot. Kurt Davis has about a straightaway lead. He'll win this one. Randy Martin, though, still has some pressure for the Y5 of Mike Hausman as they work 3 and 4 for the final time. Davis off turn 4, he'll pick up the win. The race is for second. Randy Martin down the front straightaway. Martin takes second, Hausman third. Josh Higday comes home fourth.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your feature event for the Advanced Auto Parts 360's night number 1 of the 360 Nationals getting set to go. So the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame takes a look at your field, getting set to go green flag racing off turn 4. As they work through turns 3 and 4 to the white line, the green flag is up and down, and we are racing. 2 and 3 wide. They race into turn number 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, Blackwater, Missouri's Doug Wilson showing the way on the bottom side. Now here comes Jake Peters, Matt Morrow, 3 wide back in the field as they work through turn 4. Jake Peters was going up on the high side, then dove low at the last minute into turn 1, sliding in front of Doug Wilson as the new leader. Jake Peters now your leader down the back straightaway. As they race off turn 4, Doug Wilson again to challenge down the front straightaway, still side by side, racing into turn number 1. Matt Morrow now in the 3rd spot. Michael Dupuis running 4th, John Carney, Johnny Lightning Anderson, then Larry Neighbors, Ryan Anderson. Down the back straightaway, your field sorting out as they race through traffic in the back chute. Jake Peters trying to pull away from Doug Wilson. Puts about 5 to 7 car lengths between he and Doug Wilson. Matt Morrow running 2nd. Michael Dupuis pulling up behind Matt Morrow going into turn number 3. Morrow able to hang on to the 3rd spot. All the cars running on the bottom side, the top 4 anyway. Off turn 4 now, Michael Dupuis pulls up alongside of Matt Morrow, takes away the 3rd spot. Johnny Anderson comes across the line in the 5th position. John Carney 6th. Larry Neighbors 7th, Ryan Anderson 8th. Now Gary Lee Meyer up to challenge down the back straightaway. Danny Jennings as well on the move. Then it's Jesse Janetto, Christy Passmore. Jake Peters pulling away from the field is now Michael Dupuis. Knocks on the door of Doug Wilson and takes over 2nd down the back straightaway. Doug Wilson now back into the 3rd spot as your leader has checked out on the field. Danny Jennings on the move around Gary Lee in turn 3 as he works the bottom side now in turns 3 and 4. You're battling for position 8th and 9th. Your race is now for 8th and 9th. Danny Jennings up into the 8th spot. Gary Lee running 9th. Jesse Janetto 10th. Randy Miller 11th. Ryan Anderson, Christy Passmore, Colin Northway, David Hesmer, your top 15 cars. Down the back straightaway, your field working through the turn. Jake Peters, your leader, now starting to pull up on traffic as he goes into turn 3. Traffic ahead for your leader, who runs the bottom side now of turn number 4. Jake Peters about a straightaway, the advantage between he and 2nd runner Michael Dupuis. Doug Wilson still running in that 3rd spot with Matt Morrow close in 4th. Johnny Anderson 5th. Your battle still going on with Danny Jennings, but now he's working on Larry Neighbors for 7th. Larry Neighbors on the high side in turn 2. Here they come down the back chute now. Neighbors gets a run on Carney going into turn 3. Larry Neighbors, John Carney side by each. They're racing through turn 4. Carney not able to make the slide to the top of the racetrack, holds the middle of the speedway. John Carney still running the middle of turns 1 and 2. Larry Neighbors on the high side. Now Danny Jennings pulls up alongside of Neighbors down the back straightaway. You've got a three-way battle for the 6th spot. Slide job coming up, got it. Larry Neighbors moves by Carney, but here they come again. Almost 3 wide down the front chute. Side by side, John Carney on the bottom side of Larry Neighbors, who now moves on by Carney, as does Danny Jennings down the back chute. That's your race for 6th and 7th. Down the back straightaway they come toward turns 4. Off turn 4, now Larry Neighbors pulling away, trying to move his distance greater from Danny Jennings. Meanwhile, your leader, Jake the Snake Peters, off turn 4 with lots of traffic all around him. Down the front chute. Michael Dupuis still trying to close in and is doing so. Now about 2 turns, the distance between 1st and 2nd. Then it's back to Matt Morrow, Johnny Anderson, Doug Wilson, Larry Neighbors, Danny Jennings, Gary Lee, John Carney, Randy Miller, Colin Northway up into the 11th spot. Then David Hesmer, then Chris Walraven battling Ryan Anderson for position down the back straightaway. Then it's the Bulldog, Jesse Janetto, as we've got 13 laps in the books. 13 down as we work away. Your leader still Jake Peters. Jake Peters works down the front chute, your leader, working around traffic as he goes into turn 1. Michael Dupuis doesn't seem to be able to close the gap between 1st and 2nd. Then it's about the equal distance back to 3rd with Matt Morrow. Jake Peters seems to have a handle on tonight's feature lead as he works down the front chute once again, working through the lap cars. Gary Lee now moves around Larry Neighbors down the front chute. That was the race for 7th. Meyer up into the 7th spot. Neighbors back to 8th. Then John Carney. Now Randy Miller moves around John Carney going into turn number 3. Still your race in the 9th and 10th position. Randy Miller now up into the 10th spot. Oh, John Carney slowing down the front chute. Tough break for John Carney, as he's gonna put her in the box for tonight. Jake Peters still showing the way, as Carney still on the racetrack but slowing on the high side of turn 3. It's Peters, Dupuis, Morrow, Anderson, Wilson, your top 5. Then Danny Jennings, Gary Lee, Larry Neighbors, Randy Miller, and Colin Northway cracks the top 10. And John Carney is slowing as we are nearing the final laps. Yellow, yellow. As the white flag was getting set to come onto the speedway, the yellow flag is out for the car number 86 of John Carney. As he works through turn 4, the pace begins to quicken to the cone, green flag. Your race for 2nd, here comes Matt Morrow charging by Michael Dupuis in turn 2. Matt Morrow now up into the 2nd spot. Larry Neighbors way up in the crumbs, gathering it in down the back chute. Matt Morrow in pursuit of your leader, but I don't know if there's enough time. White flag, 1 to go. 1 lap to go. Jake Peters down the back chute for the final time, working off turn 4, picking up his first victory at the Knoxville Raceway. Wagner, South Dakota's Jake Peters. Matt Morrow comes home 2nd, Michael Dupuis 3rd, Johnny Anderson 4th, Doug Wilson running 5th.
Preliminary night on Advanced Auto Parts 360 Nationals. First night out, Jake Peters. I know it is never easy as it looks, but that thing looked like it was on cruise control tonight.
Oh, she was rolling around there real good. I got a lot of help from Doug Wolfgang the last couple of weeks, and he's kind of got this car dialed in for us. I appreciate that. You know, we've chatted back and forth quite a bit, and he's helped us. We've had a little disruption in our team, and everybody's kind of pulled together here, and we've raced strong, and God, I'm looking forward till tomorrow.
Jake, you've been coming down here to Knoxville Raceway quite a bit lately, and everything kind of went your way tonight.
Well, it did. You know, like I said, my car is driving so good, and when you get your car driving nice, it's just easy. You know, I hate to say it's easy because it's not easy, but when you drive a car that isn't nice, you struggle and run 10th, and when they're nice, they're easy to drive, and you win lead races and win races, and that's what we do this for.
Had a couple guys around here tonight that are qualifying tomorrow night. They were kind of standing around, being a little bit impatient.